Welcome, everybody, to the third episode of our DeadCast. It is also the third episode of Fear the Walking Dead, called The Dog?
The Dog.
The dog!
Spoiler alert, there is a dog in it. To my left is, on the end, Brandon Lang, my roommate and best friend.
Everybody.
And then to my immediate left is the Boo, Mark Hicks.
Hey, everyone.
And then I'm Oliver Trotta.
Yay, you got it this time.
So yeah, we saw that episode today, just before we started filming this. What are your first immediate impressions of it? And then we can go deep down into it.
Start with you, Brandon.
It was, I'm trying to think of the right word. Rewarding. Seeing all the chaos and everything was great. There could have been more, but that's just because we're used to Walking Dead. So it was good to see the panic and everything. But it was really good. I liked it. We'll talk about it more, but I was impressed.
Immediate impressions, yeah. So, I'm right there with you. I think it was rewarding. Like, it's the perfect word. So, rewarding, because, last DeadCast, if you haven't seen it, we talked about, what we wanted. And one of the main things is we want to see the chaos. And they gave us the chaos, and it was great. So, immediate impressions, that was awesome. Also, there's a lot more frustrating moments where characters are, you're why are you making boneheaded decisions? A lot of head scratchers, but that's to be expected. It's the beginning. It's the beginning.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
What about you?
I did enjoy it. I think it wasn't a big episode in terms of moving the story, but I did get a little bit more of what I wanted, which was LA and chaos, the zombie apocalypse coming, and people dying. Yes. So yeah, it started out really, really strong, and then it kind of just waved off. So yeah, the episode starts out exactly where the second episode left off, which is they're in that barbershop, Travis and his ex-family,
Eliza and Chris, and then the new family.
Yeah,
Gonzalez's, right?
the Gonzalez's. I still can't remember the barber's name.
He said it. I can't. I know
the daughter's name is Ophelia,
and the wife isn't it Margarita or something with the M?
Maybe.
Sounds right.
Yeah, and so then they're kind of dealing with being inside together, trapped in this riot going on. And then let me see what happened after that.
So what happened during that scene? I think because it jumps back between both groups. Obviously,
yes,
you got the Clarks at their house. So you got Madison and her kids, and they're trying to just get through the night, and
they're playing Monopoly.
The Monopoly game was a great idea.
Really?
Yeah.
You play Monopoly during the...
They don't know what's going on.
Okay, one of them doesn't know. Alicia doesn't know what's going on.
Nick and Madison know.
Nick, straight up, Nick is awesome in this episode. He has a couple scenes.
No, it was Walking Dead status. They just,
You're right. They don't fully believe.
It wasn't completely chaotic for them.
Not on their end.
They weren't at the barbershop.
They saw their neighbor get eaten, but I guess they're whatever.
After that.
No, that was in the last episode. They saw their neighbor get eaten.
One,
yeah.
But I feel didn't this episode start? So it started in the barbershop. You got, that whole group, and Chris is looking at the wall and feeling the wall, and he's like, okay, it's really warm. They're burning it. They're going to burn this place down. And then they're consulting, the barber, and Travis, and they're like, hey, we got to go. And the barber, to me, he's already got the survival instinct where he's like, these people are weak. He's got, to me, he's the clear leader going forward. Right now, he's trumped everybody, as far as being the guy that seems like he knows how to make the right moves, when in needed time to progress and stay alive. So I would say we're going to see some cool shit from him. Probably right out the gate. I think.
Yeah,
he's going to cab walkers in the face.
I'm still not sure about him, just because immediately off the bat he's very stubborn. I get that he wants to protect his family, but he just doesn't give a fuck about anybody else. He's just they're not family. We don't talk to them.
Yeah.
Why are we even helping them? So that might be an issue later on in the episodes, but Yeah, I still don't know what to make of him. He is capable. He is more intelligent and in terms of thinking of what to do in situations like that. And maybe they still haven't really gone in the backstories of any of these characters. So maybe they'll talk about, their pasts, and maybe he went through some stuff. But yeah, so once they leave the barbershop, they try to cut through the riot to get back to Travis's truck. And
which I'm surprised is still there.
Yeah, you would think
I know. Perfect condition.
Trucks on fire, and they were pushing them over.
Yeah, it was a great scene though. I mean, honestly, that whole scene was
the only
awesome.
thing I just found a little weird is that amongst the rioters there's zombies like eating people, and like I guess no one noticed it, or no one was alarmed by that fact. Like you clearly saw a cop eating another cop, and like nobody cared, and up until like Chris like was looking at it, was like, Dad, look at that shit, and then they're like, no, let's keep going. But like, I guess I don't know, I feel like if that was really happening, people would be like, holy shit. Or maybe they just thought they were in bath salts or something, or on drugs.
Yeah, it's I don't know, that scene was, I see where you're coming from, and I don't know, it's hard to like, I would say pinpoint and say like, yeah, I know I would be like, oh my God, I would never riot if I ever saw that, or, but it's just, people are insane. There's so much chaos going around. I don't even know if anyone really even noticed, like this guy, like there's just a dude on top of another dude biting his neck. And
yeah,
I don't know. They made it obviously when they're filming it, because they wanted to make that a point of emphasis. And I think give us as the viewers who already know what's going on, know how the walkers work, and know what the world's going to come or become eventually, some kind of payoff. Because, they don't necessarily even have to show any Ewokers right now, because,
but they do.
Yeah, they do. Which
They're just kind of amongst the living.
Yeah, which I mean, in this episode, there's a lot of payoff. I feel like most walkers you've seen so far, some really good scenes too, especially as they progress forward. You can even go further. They progress forward through that. They climb up like this. I don't even know what they climbed up. Like it was like this.
Some scaffolding. In cities like that, I mean, there's just construction around the buildings all the time. So that's what was going on.
And what the cops decided to
spray
it down with
the firefighters were, because I mean, they do that with rioters when they start throwing shit at them. To push them back, they spray them with water because it doesn't kill them.
But it hurts.
It does hurt a lot.
That high pressure hose.
Yeah. Which knocks that over, and then the barber's wife, her leg gets stuck under it. She ends up breaking her leg, her foot.
I think it's her foot.
Her foot.
Ankle or something.
Well, regardless, she's injured, and it looks nasty, like some bones poking out. So they carry her into the truck, and then they try to take her to the hospital. And then this part, that was actually my favorite scene of the whole episode, was when they try to get to the hospital, and like it shows the police trying to like move traffic, and then they have they had checkpoints, and then like you can see while they're passing the hospital, people evacuating it, and then like the cops are like screaming at like this old lady, and she's obviously a zombie.
Don't step forward.
They're like, don't step forward, and then she doesn't, and then like they just light her up, and she still gets up, and they finally get a headshot on her, some chrome to the dome, and put her down. But
it was a good scene too, because Chris was like looking at the entire time.
Yeah,
like it showed him just like peeking out the window, like holy shit.
It was chilling. Like I feel like that was a more realistic depiction of like the beginning of the apocalypse, where like they're going to start evacuating. Because I feel like if that were to happen, the hospital is the first place to get fucked.
Yeah, completely. You would not want to be there,
because that's where the dead, are mostly at. So it was just really cool seeing that scene, and it gave me chills at first, just the way they filmed it. It was filmed really well and acted really well, and it was really realistic in the portrayal of that, which I enjoyed very much. And then, so after that, they decide to go to take everybody to Madison's house. And then from there on out, you don't really see them until they get to Madison's house.
Yeah, focuses more on
focuses on Madison and what they have to do. So if you want to explain what happens next.
Yeah, I mean, so essentially what happens at Madison's house, we were hitting on it earlier, they play Monopoly. And there's a scene where they're playing Monopoly, and like kind of foreshadowing on the last episode. Like, I guess they planted a seed in the last episode, you could say, where, the neighbor ate the other neighbor. And... they just hear this noise going on outside, and they don't know what's going on. So they stop playing Monopoly. Eventually, the power goes off too. This is another really cool scene with Travis.
Yeah,
we totally forgot
after.
that.
Yeah.
But this is actually probably my favorite scene of the episode because it was just really cool how it was filmed.
They're up on a mountain, right? And
they're just driving through like like the mountains in LA, and you can see like just a big power grid going out. You know, you see the entire city lit up and just parts of it just going out, zoom, 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 and it's just cool. Like, yeah, it's just super cool. It's like a puzzle, like completely coming like from 0 to 100%, just complete of darkness. And then that's pretty much where that scene cuts out though with Travis. And it goes back to the Clarks where they're at the house, and the power goes out when they're putting Monopoly away after Alicia lost, which was pretty funny because Madison's like, go put it away.
Losers put away the game.
Exactly. So anyway, what happens is they hear a noise, and immediately they're, Nick's going to look what's going on. Like, he knows he's fully the one person in this show that is awesome, I think, so far, and believes like exactly what he saw. He's like, yep, they're dead. I know they're dead. And essentially what happens is they open the back door. It's just a dog, and it's got blood on it. And they're like, oh my God, did it get bit? And it wasn't the dog's blood. It was, which we kind of get inferred to as the neighbors.
Yeah, I don't know whose dog that was. It's not like they really recognized that dog. It was just a dog.
Yeah, just a German Shepherd.
But once that dog shows up, things start get rolling.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Because the dog, they can sniff out bad things. So he goes straight to the front door, and they look out the front door, and the neighbor
standing there,
chilling,
just lurking on his way over.
And he's the one that ate the people from across the street. So he's already like bloodied and gross looking. So then they freak out and
decide they need to go get a gun, and Nick knows where the gun is.
Gun is. It's not their gun. So they go to not their neighbor. It's whoever lives in the back. Well, it's their neighbor, but
behind them.
Behind them, the neighbor behind them. And there's like this weird like garden maze thing. Yeah, I don't know.
It was interesting. I mean,
it was like a greenhouse without the roof.
Yeah.
It was cool though. I mean, it kind of made a cool effect within this episode because it played a part with the neighbor. And I think wasn't it Patrick? Is that the neighbor's name? It doesn't really. It's not really
the husband's.
I guess. Yeah. Anyway, they go to the neighbor's house and they find the shotgun that they ended up realizing was there. They ended up getting a shotgun, and of course they go back. And the moment that they start heading back, they see.
Well, first of all, they leave to go to the neighbor's house. They leave the back door wide open. No fucks were given. I don't understand why.
People don't think, I guess, in the apocalypse. I mean, like, I guess to their defense, like.
See, I play devil's advocate here because you're not thinking in that situation.
Yeah, I guess.
Of course, us looking at it, we're going to be like, they didn't close the door. What are they doing? But it's not on the top of your mind at that moment.
Well, I just feel like if you see a zombie or somebody lurking its way over here with blood on him, you might want to close your door. Like, I mean, that's common sense.
That was the front door. This is the back door.
I guess you're right.
It doesn't really matter, but it's still a door. But
I don't know.
I give them a break because I
fine. We'll give them a pass on that.
It's still cool though, because I mean, it added a lot of suspense to this episode at one point because they get the gun, they're heading back, and then Travis pulls in, and the zombies in their house munching on this dog.
On the dog, yeah. Poor dog.
Just kills the dog, like, and then they're like, Madison's immediately like running, like, holy crap, like I gotta let Travis know, otherwise, trouble could happen. They could get it.
Of course, they're screaming, and then they don't hear anything on their end.
No.
So they're chasing after him. So then Travis walks into the house and sees the neighbor and recognizes him as the neighbor. Like, oh, you're just sick. It's okay.
Yeah,
which,
so
like,
funny.
come on, this shit again.
This was where Travis had a lot of points in my book because he was the one from the get go believed Nick. Like, straight from the gate that Nick was, like, not hallucinating. He wasn't crazy.
Yeah, something's up.
Yeah, something is going wrong. And then, he saw the incident when he was driving on the freeway where paramedics were getting eaten, which was a great scene, too, in the last episode. But it just frustrated me. It was like, dude, how many... Like, I just lost points for him. I was like...
Yes, but then again, they still think it's just a sickness.
I think...
No, he thinks it's just a sickness.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Most of them do.
I thought he personally... was convinced that, okay, this is not just a sickness. This is something that's completely just not.
Right, I was surprised. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
But, you know, on the other hand,
Yeah, I mean,
they think it's sickness and that it can be cured or something.
I mean, this is still day 2 they're on.
Yeah.
Right.
This
yeah.
is day 2.
This is happening fast for them.
You do
I guess.
gotta, like, I can understand from the standpoint of us, it's more frustrating as the viewer.
As a viewer, yeah.
As if you've seen The Walking Dead. If you've never seen The Walking Dead, then I guess it's probably like more understandable. You're like, okay, I get this. But yeah, I guess it is day 2. So I will give them a pass. But the good thing about episode 3 is we kind of have an idea of who these characters are, and now we can kind of judge them more.
There's no more passes after this.
Yeah, not so much, but it's kind of cool because, like, in this episode specifically, I felt like there was like, oh wow, that was a cool move by that character. Like in this episode, what stood out to me, I guess we should probably finish going over it first, but
Sure.
I mean, anyway, we'll finish that first, and then we'll get to all the other nonchalant stuff about it.
Sure. So
rigmarole.
So yeah, Travis sees the neighbor and he's like, "Oh, it's gonna be okay. You know, you're just sick." Obviously, he's not okay, and so he tries to eat Travis. They finally come in with the shotgun. I don't think they shot first, right? Did they?
No. So Travis almost got eaten like Madison did by the principal. It was like they took the scene from last episode with the principal, replicated it with the neighbor.
Except there was a gun now.
Except they had a gun instead of a fire extinguisher.
Barbershop guy grabbed the gun.
Yeah, he grabs the gun and
Nick.
See, I feel like either Madison or Nick or somebody else shot first, and it didn't take him out, but like his fucking face was like.
No, it was the barber guy.
Yeah, it was the barber.
The first time? The second time I remember him shooting.
Right, no, the first time was him too, because he
Okay.
looked at it and
He put
was
two
like,
caps
are
in
you
him.
kidding me?
Oh, okay.
This was probably the best scene, I think, personally. I mean, I shouldn't say the best scene. It was just gruesome. It was great.
I don't know how they were able to put that on TV, but it was awesome looking. So he gets shot in the face, and half his face is missing. You can see inside it. And then, you know, they're all in shock, like, what the hell?
That's when the barber guy realizes these people are dead. They're not sick.
Yeah. So then he puts it like right into his like face, and there's bam, and like
it just blows.
guts all over.
Yeah,
him.
half his head.
And then half his head's missing. Yeah, and it was awesome. It was awesome. And then he gives it back. The gun. He's like, oh, here you go. You know, I'll show you how it's done.
Yeah, and in the meantime, like I guess we should mention Alicia is going back to the neighbor's house because guess what? They didn't bring the ammo.
They didn't bring the bullets. Yeah,
numbskull. But anyway, yeah, she's going back there, and of course she notices the medication's empty on the table, and you can see it like a cup of tea. And then this was a creepy ass scene. Like this was creepy as fuck.
Yeah, because we all looked at each other. We were like, "Did they kill themselves?"
Yeah, Oliver's first intuition of what happened was, okay, well, Nick stole the pills. He's a drug addict.
Yeah.
But no, I'm like, dude, she killed herself or something. Something happened, and of course she did. Like, she's dead.
Yeah, you see her feet. Like it's some woman. Well, it's Susan. You find out later. She's standing behind like a swinging kitchen door.
It's like one of those old Western films.
Yeah.
Where you like pull out the.
There's a name for those doors, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Swing doors. That's what we'll call them
But
now.
you see her feet, and like you can, and Alicia sees her just like chilling there.
And she knows, she knows something's up.
Yeah, which I still can't believe she
I was proud
doesn't.
of her in this episode.
Yeah,
we can talk about that later, but
it was a proud moment. It was a proud moment for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, she avoided that situation and ran back. And then I guess Susan caught up with her and took her by the leg as she was trying to get over the fence.
Luckily, did not get bit.
Maze thing.
Yeah, the maze.
Yeah, she got lost for a second. She was like,
yeah.
And then like Chris comes,
tries to help her.
He tries to save her. Travis's son tries to pull her, and I don't know, like she gave him a nasty elbow, like straight to his nose.
She was like, "Get the
leave me alone."
Yeah, almost broke the guy's nose. So I don't know if that has anything to do with their relationship. It's going to be interesting to see because I don't know if that was just.
I think she was just freaked out.
That's what I think so too. I think she was just doing it because she was like scared somebody was grabbing her. But
yeah.
I mean, it was a great scene too. And from there, I guess they were just trying to figure out what to do with that. They ended up disposing that body. Travis ends up disposing it. I'm trying to think what else happens. So he ends up, isn't he bringing the body, like puts it in a bag, starts dragging it out, and then the barber guy comes up to him and he's
That's
like,
the next morning. You're missing the part where they discussed about if they were going to stay with them or not.
Yeah, yeah.
The barbershop family's in their room.
And they're speaking in Spanish, which I appreciate.
True.
I like that they were. I understand Spanish, so.
Oh, God.
I mean, they have subtitles too, so.
Yeah, but I mean,
Even us
they're a
white
Mexican
folks.
family. When a Mexican family wants to talk privately, they just talk in Spanish because they know the white people won't understand. So I thought that was, that's something they would do. And, of course, he was set in a stubborn way. He's like, no, we're going to stay behind. We're not going to go with them. I don't want to owe them any debts. We need to watch out for our own blood. And the daughter's like, no, they're good people and we need to be with them. And it's like, no, listen to me. And then the wife's just like, oh, trust him. It's your father.
Yeah, the wife takes the husband's side
Yeah.
the entire time.
Yeah. And then, they go out and Travis is carrying the body out to bury it. And then whatever the barber's name is, Ruben Blades, he's like, you should burn it. That's how you get rid of a disease. And he's like, no, we don't know how this disease spreads, so there might not be any point to burning it. And then he's like, oh, I get it. That was, that guy.
That guy.
Yeah. And so they bury him. Then I think that's the end of the night, right? Does anything else happen?
No, that is. And then the next morning comes.
The next morning he's
nothing
actually
important. Nothing significant happens. Obviously, there's that.
He's actually burying him, and then Susan's still.
Yeah,
you
Susan's
see
like
her.
creeping.
That's
out.
right.
And
They're
he's
all
like, good morning, Susan.
Yeah, that was the night.
funny.
But the night before, they all like are looking at her because once they save
Yeah, and
Alicia,
that's when Nick. This is a hero moment for Nick. Like 10 points in my book right here for him. He's like straight up because Alicia this scene still doesn't know what's going on, and they're like wondering what they should do with Susan, and Nick just makes this comment: "She's dead." Like, and everyone's like, and then Alicia like has this thought of her boyfriend, like.
Oh, yeah.
she's like, "That's not him, is it?"
Starts
Yeah.
freaking out, like, is that my boyfriend? Which I guess is understandable. It's like what any high school girl would do.
She didn't think he was gonna die because no one told her what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, so I mean that was a cool scene, especially for Nick. It made you think, like, thank God, at least somebody
gets it.
Yeah, somebody understands what's going on. Even though Nick, at the end of this, is like searching for drugs in this episode, and you're just kind of like, come on, bro.
He's an addict. I mean, he's got to fight through that.
Yeah. But yeah, the next morning comes around, and I'm trying to think at the same night because there's that scene with Madison and Eliza when she's drinking.
Oh, yeah.
That does happen at that night.
Over a bunch of stuff,
and that's a great scene.
That was She's sitting out looking through her window, looking at Susan.
Yep. And she's drinking like some scotch or some whiskey or something, like sipping on something.
She says it's really early for her to be saying this, in my opinion, but she's like, just promise me that you'll take care of me if this ever happens to me, because I know Travis won't, or he'll have a.
He wouldn't be.
hard time.
He'd be destroyed.
Yeah, he'd be
like
destroyed.
like
Break
Madison's.
him.
Yeah, Madison's like.
Why are you already talking like this?
I don't know.
Too early for that.
It was. I mean, honestly, that was a cool scene in my books too. It was like Madison seems very cold and like closed off in this episode, right. And I like that. It's kind of like it kind of reminds me of like Carol in some ways, from the actual Walking Dead, and I'm like, ooh. Madison could become a cold-blooded gangster. Like, she might have the potential to become just an awesome person throughout this series. But anyway, I mean, that scene happens where she pretty much... I don't know if I was a big fan of the dialogue, because she's pretty much just saying, like, I don't know, why would you ask somebody's ex-wife about this? Like, to kill you. Like, that just seems weird to me.
I mean, who else would she ask? She can't ask her kids to do it.
Yeah.
She can't ask the strangers, that are staying in the house.
Yeah.
So I guess there's just her. She don't want Travis to do it.
Yeah, and then I guess the next morning comes. They're all packing to get out of town. And I'm trying to think what happened. So you got Nick. Madison comes out to the car, gives Nick some drugs. And Nick
you skipped a part. Madison wanted to kill Susan. She had like this ball.
That happens after.
No, it happens before they get to the car.
Before? Okay.
Yeah.
I was mad at Travis for this scene.
Yeah, so
she explain it, but
she's just like looking like real up close. I guess examining Susan, the Asian zombie lady.
Yeah, with her hand.
Yeah, but she's like literally like this close to like getting touched.
Yeah, her hands are like right there.
Yeah. And she's just like staring into her like, is she really gone? Like, is she dead? I think that's what she was just thinking.
She's clenching this hammer like, so intensely. Like, she's just got this hammer and her arm dropped to her side. You can tell she's just like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this bitch. Like, I'm gonna crack her skull open.
I wish she did. It would have been nice.
It would have been great, but
yeah, I think her excuse was she didn't want, in case the husband came home, because he didn't show up last night. She didn't want him to get eaten or to have to deal with her.
yeah, I mean, I think she mostly thought of being in her place, because it sounded like that whole scene where she had with Liza was kind of like, that kind of inferred like, well, I don't want like Patrick to go through this. Like,
what if Travis found me that way?
Exactly. Yeah. So I think she wanted to put Susan out of her misery, and to protect Patrick. So he wasn't so, I guess, I feel like he's still going to be destroyed, but the fact that he saw somebody that was like already turned, he'd probably be, I guess, more acceptive of that.
Yeah.
Like at least they already died. I mean, maybe later they wouldn't know that, but it was still a really cool scene. Travis ends up coming out and like telling her, you don't know what you're doing. That's not your choice. Like,
we don't know if there's a cure or not. Or it's a disease. They're sick.
What if there's a cure? I think that's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Madison's still about to pull away and like do it, and he makes her stop, and
Which makes me angry.
it made us all kind of angry, but at the same time, it's understandable. It's still, like I said, this is about day 3, going on the beginning of day 3 of the apocalypse. And then, they all start driving away. They end up packing up, driving away, and guess what? Patrick decides to come home.
Which is the husband of the Asian zombie lady.
Yeah, Susan's husband.
Susan, yeah.
And Madison's first reaction is, oh no. And just...
like, wait!
And she just turns around, just books it, just zoom, like just turns around, puts the car in park, and runs in the house and says, Patrick, no. And it's like in the backyard. They're in the backyard. Patrick's out there.
He's like, Susan.
He's like, Susan. And they're all screaming no at this point. And he's just like, come here, babe. Like, still putting her arms around.
She's like,
and her hair's like blown back, dude. Like, she's got like some crazy perm going on in this. And it was so funny. And he's still gonna go like give his wife a hug.
A hug, yeah.
And then the military comes in and just starts capping everything. Like, puts a freaking bullet right through her head. It was actually pretty dope. And I don't know.
Yeah,
they never really.
Nowhere too.
Yeah, they never really said anything what happened to Patrick. She came looking for him.
Well,
she asked
later. Yeah, she asked.
Let's be real here, though. Well, yeah, later. So later, she asked about him, and they're like, "Oh, well, he got infected blood on him."
Yeah, you think they just killed him?
So on the real, they just probably killed him. Yeah. If they're not going to take any chances.
Paranoid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no one understands. I mean, even in the original Walking Dead, very few people actually understood how the disease worked. And in the original show, they just happened to go to the CDC. And
I don't know
that guy knew what was
personally.
up.
I don't know if I would trust it either. Like,
yeah, I mean,
if you can't understand something and you just see it happening, if you saw anyone around that interacted with anything that was infected, you'd probably be more likely to avoid them, or in this case, kill them.
Yeah,
because they're clearing up the city, they're cleaning it up, and they have like the military marking houses, and it's kind of cool. And it's crazy because if you think about it, if she never went back, they'd be gone. And this whole season would be it would be completely different. They'd be on the road somewhere.
Right.
But at the same time, I think it's good that they're staying in LA. And I think the military aspect of this episode is going to be interesting because they're going to be the bad guys, I think. And they're going to make them do things that they don't want to do. And it's just going to be interesting to see how things play out.
For their protection.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's kind of cool, too, because to me, I feel like if they're with the military, obviously they're going to be a little bit more secure. Because they have weapons.
For now.
Yeah, but at the same time, we'll see what happens. LA's got millions and millions of people that live within that population, so I don't know if the military has enough bullets to cap every single one of these individuals. But it's gonna be good. And I mean, that's pretty much where the episode left off. It left off with just the military taking over and them pretty much just giving them their information, letting them know how many people are in their group.
Yeah. He told. Travis was talking to them, and he told them, which I also thought was weird. And in terms of the military, I feel like they would have been more thorough because the Barber's family is still in the house. They didn't even bother checking their house for if they're hiding anything like a zombie or if there's just usually if someone, even the police, they'll come in, they'll make everybody walk outside, so they do a full count, interview them, ask them their name, who they are. But they didn't do that. They were just, oh, okay, you're good. You got 9 people. Okay. And they just kept moving on. And that's where it ends, where he's still, I guess, hiding in the house or whatever. And Ruben Blades is looking through the window. He sees them marking in. He's like, oh, we're already too late. And that's when it ends. So So I mean, it could go in a number of ways, but it's definitely going to involve the army or the government in some way, and so we'll see how they handle all of that.
Yeah, I'm interested. There were some cool references made in this episode too. One that I personally didn't even pick up. I read about later, but Nick, for one, apparently Madison makes a comment about Nick, her mother being a drug addict as well. So it's hereditary, runs in the family.
It usually is.
So that's kind of cool. We get a little bit more background information. And then we also learn that Madison is pretty much just a widow. Her husband died somehow. We didn't get any information on how, but we know that she pretty much had her husband and he was killed. So that's kind of cool background information we learned.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think this episode overall was still really good. Obviously, it is the beginning. Like, we're 3 episodes in, and I think this show is really good. It hasn't been as satisfying yet, but I think we're going to get to a point where it starts becoming really satisfying. And as long as we get that satisfying, like, where they're getting into the chaos, more walkers, I think we're going to be completely fine. I think this is going to be a really successful show because, personally, it already has been. It's got more viewers on the premiere than any show's ever had on television, so it's pretty amazing.
Oh, and it is getting a second season.
Oh, officially?
13 episodes, I think is what they said was going to have in the second season. So there's definitely going to be more Fear the Walking Dead. I think it's going to be around for a while. It's pretty, I would say, it's still, I wouldn't say it's still not on the same level as The Walking Dead. Way. But we're more invested in those characters, so they need time to build everything up.
Or like, how many seasons? 7? This is 7?
This is 6 is coming in October.
Almost 6 years.
Yeah, almost 6 years, yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, also...
And if you think back to like the early days, there were still so many characters that you just annoyed you. There was Andrea, Carl.
Yeah, and even at the beginning.
Whatever.
Andrea.
I was so happy she died.
Oh, I know.
I clapped, did a full clap when she died. And she deserved it. And then, they introduced even more better characters like Michonne. And,
it's a lot more core, like, characters that you like. I don't know, they're more of like the family. Like, they take up the family roles, and they all have things that they're particularly better at than others. And it's kind of cool because they take on that role, and that's important to you because you care about these core characters. So I think The Walking Dead's got that, like Glenn, Maggie, Michonne, you got Rick, you got Carl. And it's kind of cool because they've all come a really long way.
Carl!
Well, Carl's kind of becoming a badass now.
I like Carl. New Carl.
Don't like him.
Really? Mm-mm. At least he knows how to take care of himself now.
He does. Like, I feel like he's very capable of handling business. And, dude, he's still only a teenager.
It's pretty much all he knows, though.
But yeah, getting back to the Fear of the Walking Dead, I think we're going to get there eventually, too. It's season 1. So if you look back at Walking Dead season 1, it wasn't like the best, most satisfying show ever. It was interesting. It was cool. But they built upon it, and now, being six seasons going on, 6 seasons in, they're important to you. Your characters, you care about them.
I can't even remember watching the first episode of Walking Dead, first season, and thinking what I thought about it. Were we?
No, we were not roommates yet. I remember it was in my Chandler Court apartment. It debuted. The first episode was on Halloween. I went to a Halloween party, and then after that, we all got totally hammered and we rewatched the first episode of Walking Dead. I had to rewatch it again because I didn't remember half of that episode.
I didn't watch The Walking Dead till a couple of years. Like, I think the first 3 seasons, no, it's 2 seasons were out. And then I binged it. I watched all of them and it was good. And then I caught up on the 3rd season.
I think we started hanging out and then you told me about it. Because I was like,
you didn't watch it till we moved in, right?
Because I think my sister and Paige both told me, like, oh, this show's great, you should watch it. And then you were like, yeah. And you showed it to me.
Yes.
It's a good show. Oliver got me back into it because after season 3, I was just kind of like, I don't really like it. And then he's like, dude, just come on, just watch it. And I'm glad I did. It was probably one of the better decisions I've made because this show has honestly gotten so good.
Oh, yeah.
It's gotten so good. But honestly, back to the Fear of the Walking Dead, I'm excited for the next episode and to see where it goes, especially with the military. I feel like right now, kind of how you said it started out really good. It was satisfying and then it kind of fizzled out a little bit and just was kind of like,
yeah.
I'm curious to see them build some more like suspense and exposition because right now there's like, oh, they're with the military. Okay. So it's like
Yeah,
there's so
but,
many. It's an open book. Like,
You get, I don't know, you don't get that good of vibes with the military
Yeah.
being around.
No way.
Like they clearly know more than what they're letting on, and you don't know. I feel like they could just turn on them at
I
any
feel
minute.
like they think that they know, but it's not right. I don't know.
Well, yeah, we don't really
I
know.
wouldn't trust it.
We don't know what they know, so maybe they'll elaborate on that in the next episode. They kind of did show some scenes of the military talking to them, them trying to take back the city, which that ain't gonna happen. You can't do that.
no way.
So we'll see how they plan on doing that, or what kind of misinformation they have. Because again, we as the viewer know more about the zombie apocalypse. We know the future and that everything's gone. Well, I mean, at least we know on the East Coast everything is gone. I'm assuming the same is on the West
Yeah.
Coast.
Otherwise, they probably would have had some kind of communication in The Walking Dead by now.
Yeah.
But another cool thing you were telling me about, we were reading that article about what's going to happen with the airplane, zombies in the airplane. I don't know if you want to hit on that, because that's something I feel like as a viewer I'd want to know. Looking forward to the Fear of the Walking Dead, leading on to season 2. Did you hear about that?
No.
So they announced a couple days ago, or it was recently, that there's going to be a shorter an episode tied to Fear the Walking Dead where it's zombies on a plane, basically. And I don't know if do you remember World War Z?
It kind of
no, it's real. It's real.
Okay.
Kind of more in the vein of like what happened in that scene in World War Z. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Where it was the back of the plane got infected, and they kept trying to they piled a bunch of suitcases to keep them out. And then I'm assuming it land in LAX, and I guess one of those characters on that episode, it's going to be a main character in the second season of Fear the Walking Dead, and they're going to start playing a few minutes of it. I'm assuming 5 minutes between commercial breaks of the regular Walking Dead show.
It's going to be sweet.
So it's supposed to be the bridge between Fear the Walking Dead season 1 and season 2. We'll see how that goes. But I
love the idea of zombies.
Yeah, nobody famous has been tied to that Zombies on a Plane episode yet, so I don't know who's going to be in it or what it's supposed to be like, or even if that's going to even turn out good. But we'll see. I mean, I'm down for their take on a zombie plane apocalypse thing. So
they showed a plane in this episode, just like
they did. Yeah,
it was cool.
I wanted to see that thing crash. They should have done that for.
It was still.
How hard would that have been? Come on.
It inferred it crashed. Like you see this plane just and then
but
just switches.
I wanted that explosion.
You just know it's going to nosedive, but honestly, this episode was good. I would recommend continue watching it.
Oh yeah,
it definitely had a lot of payoff. I feel like as a viewer.
Now this means we're halfway through the season, right? Because there's only 6
episodes. 3
so
more.
yeah, do you think you'll be able to get to where you want to be in 3 episodes?
No.
Do you think it's gonna have an abrupt ending to the season?
I personally probably do.
Yeah.
I don't think. Just based on
You gotta keep it going.
Yeah. So far, the first 3 episodes have only been within. This is the 3rd day now they're on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been every episode's been about a day. But not even, because this episode still takes place majority in the 2nd day and it leads off on the 3rd day. So is it going to get where I want? Probably not, but I think it's going to definitely get damn interesting to where if we have 13 episodes in season 2, I think it's still going to involve heavily the military. So
I hope by the end of this season that there's the full-on zombie apocalypse. There's no tiptoeing around. There's no confusion as to what's happening.
Are you saying at the end of this season?
The end of this season, yes.
I don't think that's.
You don't think so?
Let's call it.
I guess we'll see.
Now.
We'll call it. That's what I want.
That's what I want that too. But there's only 3 episodes left. I don't think they're going to do that. They're not going to try and squish all that into 3 episodes.
You never know.
I don't know if it doesn't necessarily have to be squished though, because if you think about it, if they get more information from the military about what's going on, because they obviously know a lot more, and if they're popping people in the face, and they probably know this isn't reversible. So I think I want that too. I don't want them to tiptoe about, this is just a sickness. I want them to just be on, this is a zombie apocalypse. These people are trying to eat us. We need to kill them for our survival. So I hope we at least get into that survival state of mind by the end of the season, to where it's like, how do we survive?
Right.
And obviously there's got to be some kind of goal. Like in the first season of The Walking Dead, they went to the CDC? Yeah. So if we have, I hope there's some kind of goal like that where let's go here. But I don't think there will be, because if they get information that it's irreversible, then they'll just try to survive, which will be interesting.
It's true though. They need to have a point. There's always has to be a goal. Like even Walking Dead has a goal usually of finding a safe haven. But yeah, I feel like a lot happened. It was able to a lot happen in the first season of Walking Dead, and there was also only 6 seasons. You know, they started from Rick waking up in the hospital all the way to the.
You mean 6 episodes?
Yeah, sorry, 6 episodes. Yes, it started with Rick waking up in the hospital, and then it ended with him with the CDC blowing up. So I think
season 1.
That was the end of season 1, and I feel like I think you know that was able to get enough where you're able to get the characters across, know who they are.
I mean, it built.
They introduced Daryl and Merle.
And they're gonna have to start not making each episode a day. They're gonna have to do.
They could. I mean, they very well could. The Walking Dead now is like if you watch an episode, they're multiple days. They're not just one day. So it just depends on how they tell their narrative. But
the beginning of The Walking Dead started out that way too. It was like a few days in because you know first day Rick wakes up, and then the next day he wakes up with Morgan. And then the day after that, he ends up finding. Well, he ends up raiding the police station, going to Atlanta like an idiot on the horse, and then he finds Glenn, and then Glenn takes him to his family, but then they also leave behind Merle tied to the roof. So then they take Daryl, and then they go back, and then they all take everyone back. They couldn't find Merle because he cut his hand off, and then they take the whole team, go to the CDC. Then they find out the CDC is going to blow up, and so. Then they leave, and that was it. That's basically season 1 in a nutshell.
Yeah, and season 1 ended pretty good. Like,
I think it can do it. I think they got it.
I think, like you said. I mean, I think you have to start the narrative out slow because you don't want to obviously jump ahead too quick.
That's what I'm saying.
So you want to, but if you think about the Walking Dead, it progressed pretty quick towards the end. Like the last few episodes. They were more than just one day. Like, it was the course of days, it seemed like. It wasn't just...
Yeah, as long as they do that, it'll be fine.
It'll be good. I mean, I honestly still look forward to it. I think this was, like I said, a really good episode overall, and I think we'll get the payoff eventually. I hope by the end of the season, there's no question.
The season finale, there better be a payoff. There should be. They always do.
Big payday.
Yeah.
Like the first episode of season 5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was best. That episode was great.
But then also the last episode of season 5 was also great. They're good at doing good finales. So I'm confident that they'll do as good.
What do you think?
I wanted to mention that one of my favorite parts, I know it sounds random.
No, go ahead.
But in this last episode we watched, when the military was there, and they were like, have you been in contact with any of these? And she was like, no.
Oh, yeah.
And then they see the dug up hole and the buried, and they're like, what's that? She's like, our dog died.
Like, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
and this guy's
like...
That was
really, really smart of her. Because I was expecting them to be like, and then something starting, but she just, immediate was like, our dog died.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, good job, girl. Like...
Yeah, I guess we should mention, too, at the end, Nick did end up going to try to raid, houses for more drugs.
Oh, yeah.
And then he got caught by that small child.
Yeah, this little cute girl, outside her window with her doll, waving the doll's hand, hi.
Hey. Yeah.
And he's just like...
His wave is just like...
It's just awkward. Yeah. But yeah, I think... You have any predictions? We can start with, predictions. What do you predict is going to happen next episode? Because we kind of saw a glimpse. It looks like... I think, obviously, it seems like Nick is going to struggle with getting clean.
I mean, yeah, they're foreshadowing that. I mean, it's always a struggle for an addict to... break his addiction.
Yeah.
Especially in that kind of a situation that they're in where supplies are limited. He can't just go to rehab or whatever. But I really don't know where they're going to take it. They showed the preview, and I didn't really know what happened in that preview, just that they wanted to take the city back. I don't really know how they plan to do that, really. Or why they need citizens to do that. I feel like just the military they want to go take it back. Go ahead, take it back. So I don't know how they're quite involved in that situation or what's going to happen to them. Obviously, I think they're not going to be able to stay at the house. I don't think so. They're going to move them somewhere else, and then maybe more characters are going to appear, even though there's 9 already. So we'll see. Yeah, I really can't predict where it's going from here. It can go a number of ways.
Yeah, it didn't really set us make a certain path.
Yeah, they left it open-ended.
I think, though, personally, what's happening is they're marking all the houses of which are cleared out. I think they're going to divide the subdivisions up into blocks.
Like Well, that would be the smart thing.
And try to defend those blocks, and that's where the people are going to stay. I don't think they're going to move them to a specific area, but I think they're going to, individually clean these houses out and just have military guarding them. That way the citizens can be protected. And I don't know if they're going to use the citizens necessarily for protection. I don't know what's going to happen. There's going to be some kind of conflict because the military, they're never nice about doing things in crucial moments like this. So,
no, they showed it in the preview.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Nick got straight up that's all I remember, Nick getting knocked out with a fucking gun.
Yeah.
So, I look forward to it, man. I think these next 3 episodes are going to be great. I think next episode is going to set a lot up going on to the finale. So that's personally what I think.
Good.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Same thing?
Yeah. I mean, the preview, and you said you don't know how many characters they're going to introduce. They showed 2 new people on the preview.
They did, which I don't know if they're important.
This is another thing that we should mention too. I can't wait because I feel like we have our core group. So we have the Clarks, and then we have Travis's groups, which is like the core characters that we're going to be really emphasized in the first few seasons.
You don't think the other family, the
I think they're open to die, like at any given time.
Well, I'll definitely predict that the barber's wife that's injured, she's gonna die.
Obviously, you could already tell she's getting like fever.
Yeah. She's gonna die.
Yeah, but I also think what's gonna happen is she's gonna die, and the barber's gonna go mad. I think he's gonna die eventually.
You think so?
I think so. I think he's just bound to be murdered eventually. But besides from that, I think I still feel like. I don't think Nick's going to die. I don't think Madison's going to die immediately. Travis they seem like they're pretty much the characters that are here to stay.
I will predict by the end of this season, either Madison or Travis is going to die. One of them.
You think so?
And my pick is going to be Travis. Yes.
Damn, that's a big prediction.
I think one of those, they have to, not that they don't have to, but it's Walking Dead. They do that stuff where they kill someone that you don't expect.
Somebody not as important.
They always they kill off important characters.
I could see Madison dying, but at the same time, I know I don't want her to die either. But I think this is where I think Madison or Eliza.
You think one of them will die?
Yeah,
that's. I mean, I don't know.
I
still don't know enough about Eliza to feel her out.
Yeah, we really don't know.
But she doesn't seem stupid, and she's medically trained somewhat. So that's a useful thing to have in the apocalypse. So I still don't know her 100% yet, but I think she'll make it. And I think Travis. I think my bet's on Travis. He's gonna die at the end of the season.
I don't know.
Hopefully, doing something good.
Yeah, he would have a heroic moment. I don't think he would just die.
He wouldn't die like no bitch.
But you're totally right. Travis, dude, if you think about Travis, there's a lot of hurt that his character obviously, there's a lot of turmoil I feel like is just done up. Like his son hates him, it seems like. Really, I don't know why. We haven't really had that explained to us yet. But,
yeah.
And then obviously something happened with him and Eliza to where they got a divorce or broke up. I don't know if they were married or not. It didn't really infer that either.
No, they were married. They're divorced.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but he's not married to Madison. That's his girlfriend.
Yeah.
They established that when they're talking to I'm pretty sure they're the National Guard. But they are military people. That was his girlfriend.
Yeah. So I guess I'm curious to see what happens because I don't know. I still can't picture Travis dying. But if he does die, it's going to be in some heroic fashion. And
there has to be a death.
Yeah, and that's of course. I hope I want somebody main to die because it would really be it's going to make the show a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
And it's going to also make these characters change. Like Chris would change, Madison would change. She'd become cold-blooded. I feel like
exactly. That's what they always do. They always use that death and pushes the characters further to where they need to be. And so yeah, I look forward to it. I think it's a good prediction.
I don't like death.
You shouldn't watch this show then.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I feel like this is pretty much good for this episode. If you want to cap it off, we can cap it off with another.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Next week they'll have the episode. We'll record. We'll talk about it. Hope you guys come back and join us. If you like this video, subscribe and do a thumbs up on our video. And then also, we still haven't had that many comments. love to have some comments.
We got one comment the other day about from like some studio that said, "Yo, hit us up if you want."
It got marked as spam, but I unspammed it because I'd rather just have a comment there than no comment.
Did you spam it or did
No, Google spammed it automatically, but I unspammed it so
yeah.
people can see it.
So yeah. Anyway, I would love to have some comments. I would love to
have
you
some
guys
discussions
to talk with you guys. Honestly, we check our YouTube every day, so we want to hear what you guys have to think. And it's weird. We get views, so we know you guys are at least listening. So if you guys listen, I mean, please show your love, or hate, anything. I just want to hear your emotion. Yeah. But yeah, honestly, it's great. I love getting together and talking about episodes, especially the Fear of the Walking Dead's been really good so far.
Also, I know you guys are watching this too, so Mom and Dad, feel free to comment. I'll talk to you guys. Mommy! Or my brother too. He watches also. Go ahead, comment, please. I love you even more. So yeah, I'm Oliver, Mark, Brandon. That caps off the episode for today.
Peace out, everybody. Thanks so much for watching.